Hello, hi. This is yours truly, Clarissa, and today is the 22nd of May, 2025. And yes, given my um, my my facial, yes, my facial um, look, appearance, you'd know that it's morning, and I had a great, was it 7 hours or 8 hours of sleep? Yes. And um, usually in the morning, we seldom, it's going to take a very special occasion to prepare ourselves, especially us, those who face the camera. And nowadays, whatever gender, we usually come with full or professional look. But since it's morning and I don't expect to go out of the house since yesterday, I finished taping corrections to 5 songs that I had recorded while I was suffering from asthma, cough, and cold. I truly I was thinking that, you know, the friends, real friends that I have, would take kindly to what they will hear, huh? uh, because it's truly awful. I couldn't sing well. I was having shallow, my breathing was shallow. And if I tried hard, the harder I tried, the the squeaky and hoarse voice came out of me. So I just had to redo everything. And thank you to Rio for allowing me uh, to have that extra session yesterday, free, without cost, because I truly could not endure. I could not bear the finished product. There was nothing wrong with, with the final, the sound audio engineering, the whatever polishing had been needed. No, it's not that. It was really my voice that was so awful, and I guess that I was also. It's a good practice. The first time that I did, it's cautionary tale for me, not to do live singing, especially if I am in that health condition. I couldn't breathe properly. I would shout and yell, and still no voice came out of me. And the harder I tried, and then the next day I was down. The physical exhaustion, not to mention the fatigue isn't worth it. So thank you, Rio, for allowing me to correct. Anyway, I want to elaborate on a very word that has another meaning nowadays, with the IRL, the nuisance streamers. And usually, there was a time that it could be like the word itself can bring out the picture of a political season, and in filing candidacy for whatever position that an aspirant gets his or her eyes on, something like that. I believe that all the qualifications are within my CV, or that I am very much qualified to run. But that is the ideal situation, right? And then there is the reality on the ground, how feasible a candidacy can fare, especially that sometimes it's a teamwork also. Like there is a party political party to consider. There is the logistic support that it can somehow uh, three candidates with 40-30% chances of making it if they strategically have an agreement to support just one candidate. They can pool resources towards that, and some call it political lobbying, or whatever is a more cynical term with that, like in betting a horse. uh, it's a reality. Okay, there was a year when I had filed my, I decided that I was sending feelers about joining and throwing my hat into the political ring. And one of the purposes was to see how the democratic process can apply to someone like me, who is a person of interest. And the documents that I am showing, they are actually genuine. They are authentic documents that I was able to file at the Commission on Election here in the province of Quezon. I didn't run for a lower position. Like, I could have run as here in the barangay. I could have run like citywide, like a city councilor, or even vice mayor, right? No, I had filed as vice governor. And my reason for that is, number one, I truly believe that in terms of name recall, in terms of personal identification that can provide what feeling of the, like, the personal information, the public information about yours truly can find the missing link to provide the recognition. Plus, the I was contented to be the wild card, and to be, there was a chance that I could be a nuisance candidate. Yes, that's the word, nuisance candidate, that could, the COMELEC is empowered, that's the Commission on Election, the COMELEC is empowered to weed out those without a realistic prospect of waging a credible, a viable campaign. And for me, I had something to show for it. It was a time that my bank record was sterling in a renaissance way. The newly emerged Clarissa Talaga Garcia out of the ruins. So I had the crowd. I could draw crowd. There is a name recall, a name that is familiar, and that my physical presence is very visible. So I was expecting also the the what the possibility that there could be a technical hurdle in a form of a petition wherein I would be declared as a nuisance candidate, given that I was combating at that time the different misinformation about my, number one, my supposed to be fitness and capacity to perform the work that I've been doing, to carry on my profession as a writer, as a singer, and that the claims that I had about my name in the industries that I had been part of. So those were the contested details of my identification at that time. So I was really looking forward to how I could present them if there was a challenge about my mental capacity, about my psychological fitness to become a candidate as vice governor of the province of Quezon, which had overtaken the the highest position that my then family had been running for. Actually, my father had tried to run as vice governor, and he didn't finish it. He had conceded. He didn't go through the whole process. So I was just like wondering how my number will turn out if it's placed there, if it's written there in the ballot, like in the official list of the candidates. You know what? I was expecting. I was also preparing the tit for tat. Who will file the motion for disqualification based on my mental capacity, based on psychological disorder, based on my status as a lawful citizen of the Republic of the Philippines, the province of Quezon. So anything that can hinder a candidate from being written as an official candidate, you know what? It was actually, it was more than, what happened is more than what I had anticipated, because it didn't take long actually for the panic button to be hit by all around. No, there was no formal. Actually, I was so heartened pa when I went there, and I was with Tita Nancy, who is a friend the longest. She was already in her in her 60s, and she can see very well, and we had to take steps one step at a time, and she was the only one who came with me to the COMELEC's office to file the candidacy. And even after that whole thing, I was expecting, to have that decision to run as a basis of my mental health, of the psychological disorder, because it was pretty, the narrative that some groups here are putting on for the locals is that the Clarissa T. Garcia that has the profile, the persona outside the Quezon is not moi, is not me. And that that is actually subject matter of the investigation right now at the Department of Justice, not only here in the Philippines, but also abroad. And so by truly putting these basic matters of fact before the constituents of the province of Quezon, it was really very, it was very in your face, and it's the glaring, all the processes that would entail for that to boot me out against my will, because my will was to join the election process, and I had filed as the vice governor candidate, right? So if the COMELEC would be prevailed upon to remove my name, after the warmth, after the reception that I got, they were truly enthusiastic about me joining the filing the candidacy, and that you know we had some pictures taken. There was actually, I was really prepared. I came prepared because previous to that, I was posting my credentials on my social media accounts, that I had been a writer, that I had been coordinate, that there was a time that I had coordinated with the school boards of different municipalities here in Quezon, that my of course the skills that I believe that I can use to help out would be one, my communication skills, and that number two, the problem solving, and number three, given the challenges that I was able to surmount up to that time, I believe I am so very much competent and a viable candidate to be placed there. Well, what happened was that the next day, my brother was frantic. It turned out that the the pioneers of the local politics here, the pillars of society, had come calling him and had actually it's for I am not going to go into details about the exact words that had been used and the leverage that had been used, so that he would um, be in the mood and the tone that he used, so that there was no way that I could let the 1 week pass by without filing the withdrawal. To my thinking, why couldn't it be that these people who would be affected by my filing of the candidacy could go to the COMELEC and file the disqualification, right? Like, oh, she's not the real Clarissa Talaga Garcia, and she's just using the name of the personality who has already proven her persona abroad. No, they're two different persons. Yeah, misrepresenting yourself. That's a very fraudulent act in our electoral law. And as I listened to Commissioner Garcia, a namesake, no relation, I could somehow, it brought back the memory of what could have been and what truly had happened, which is very indicative of of how duplicity had been behind the alternative narrative about me, because the true score was that my brother had uh, divulged some confidences that had been that it was imperative for me to withdraw my candidacy and not wait for any petition for disqualification. Why couldn't my name stayed on the master list of the official candidate, even if I don't have the means to launch a campaign, right? Now, and it still persisted in spite of the please withdraw, please withdraw. You don't know what is going to happen, if you if you push on, please withdraw. You don't actually ask someone who is not fit for any conversation, for any for any discussion or deal about it. Like, an employer would call, what do you mean? What is the meaning of this that you're filing? Actually, I did not. Um, the reason that my brother had known about my what I did was that somebody had called someone when they saw my name that I had already filed. So it was just that there there was not even I did not I did not what I wasn't very antagonistic or arrogant about it. I just did what I had to do. But you cannot ever forget a day when your phone just couldn't stop ringing. Please, please. And then that's how it happened. And in spite of that, still the narrative went on as if the documented turn of events was not recorded by moi. As if, you know, the real person and the real consequences of the action should I have the opening to participate in as myself in my real credentials, in my real CV, in my real resume, and the real everyday activities that I have, contrary to what had been espoused as the basis for any policy about yours truly. Actually, I am bringing this up right now because of what's going to happen in terms of the citizenship and in terms of the passport that I am going to ask for. Because the moment that I have been given a foreign passport and I had been confirmed as allowed a dual citizenship, that course of action is already closed. That our Constitution will not allow a candidate to to have dual citizenship, and we have that with America, with the United States. And I just want to say that I was the boogeyman who manifested into a real person. And it actually, I have no regrets. I have a picture with the VG Alcala. He actually was the candidate that had been chosen by our current governor, Helen Tan, who was running with against Governor Suarez at that time. So I am not going to divulge every detail of the conversation that had taken place. And you know, during my serving of the withdrawal form at the COMELEC, even then I was monitored if really I would be withdrawing. That was how the landscape was. Everyone was in panic mode, frantic, and they just couldn't apply and put on paper the narratives and the false information and the fake news that had surrounded me on that piece of paper to disqualify me. No, that was not the reason I had withdrawn my candidacy. And it is, this detail also is going to be part of the yours truly's personal history here in the province of Quezon, in the city of Lucena. And why not? It was a real experience. It was an official record. I still have the original documents in my possession. And the fake news didn't stop with my acquiescence, with my cooperation for uh, the greater good. It was relayed upon me that I would not serve the greater good had I pursued that candidacy, had, like, even if I didn't campaign, or I didn't have the logistics to carry out a full-fledged campaign, just my name to be part of the master list, so that the citizen, the constituents of the Quezon province could choose amongst. It was not allowed, and it was not allowed due to technical reason. It was not allowed on account of the false narratives and false news surrounding me. No, this will also serve as a reminder of what it is. The narratives that have been floated around versus the real score, which will all culminate in the investigation that's happening now. So it's reality check also for I would not mind a small appreciation of how much I had held back and how I had sacrificed also, so that the greater good could to give a chance to the greater good that is opposed to my viewpoint, that I had not acted as narcissistic or as self-centered as I had been accused of, but I had cooperated the best way I could, that this incident would point out to who the real nuisance personalities, candidates, live streamers, online contributors, nuisance podcasters, nuisance video uploaders. Really, because it's such a loose term, excuse me, to describe someone. Now that it's a democratic process, it's such a big deal. I just want to say that I hope that the remaining days from now until the preliminary is over, that we could use this time to turn down the volume. I have not been averse to doing that, because, like, there was a time for 2 years, for 2 consecutive years, I was playing the guardian to my granddaughter and my grandson, that I have done my part, but when it comes to expecting some things to change just because, that is the area of very dissatisfaction. That is it still leaves me hanging. That's why now with the real documented incidents, that is part of who I truly am, and how my way of life had been affected by some opportunities had not been available to me. Just as I do not want to cast aspersion or to provide a stinking smell to the process, I hope that it is a two-way regard, and that the remaining days, I hope that things would be somehow on the fence mending mission, I am not averse to being reminded of how I had gotten help or received the help that so many others had also received, that it wasn't just me. The opportunities that had been given me had been available to everyone, to those who would take the invitation and accept them. So it wasn't as if I was singled out to be given the opportunity that no one else had. It wasn't like that. I am not being ungrateful. I would like to be to 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 give back in the way that my not at the cost that is being asked implicitly, not explicitly, but I could not give up the part of my life that will provide the link between me and the family that I had come from. You know, my biological, my paternal, my genealogy, and how God had responded to my prayers. These are the things that I would not concede. I could have been appreciative in some other ways, but not at the cost of the things that I hold most dearly, that I would equate as the life itself. And in the same way that for the people that I also did a good turn to, I do not expect the kind of appreciation and gratitude that will rob you of everything that you hold dear for the sake of, because one way or another, we've all have received the good deed of someone. We all have been recipient of the generosity. We all have been endowed with the blessing that our good Lord has given each of us. So it is not right to pin it down as something to trade our life for. Yeah, and so in New York and in Florida, it is not to put anyone in a bad light, and that I would not come intentionally to do harm to someone's reputation or name or legacy. No, far from it. But it just has to stop. That kind of treatment shouldn't be the kind of legacy that I will pass on to my next generation. Oh, you know what? Don't find yourself. Don't look for how God has blessed you. Be molded by the public's perception of you. Be responsive to whoever has the harshest penalty, or who can inflict the most pain to you. Listen to them. Listen to the words that can be the loudest and has the most painful whip, so that you can avoid the pain. That is not how one is supposed to live. And I believe that each of us has been born according to how God has determined it. And that is a matter of belief that can spell out the difference in our life. And it should not be an area of gratitude and appreciation. That without it, you're going to be labeled as, a nuisance, sick in the mind, or what, with psychosis. But the real incidents, as they unfold, is so contrary to what has been floated out there. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to finally having the platform that is a legacy of the 20 years that I had existed as the person who cannot be named, as someone who cannot be allowed beyond what is the result of group dynamics, like, oh, we are the majority, we are there are so many of us that she's only one person and she must, she cannot exceed, that is too ambitious for her. Imagine that being told to my daughters and to the rest of my family, that you cannot go beyond what we let you. God doesn't have a role in it. It's just us, because we are mighty in numbers and in government position and in the whip that can make you suffer, something like that. The sanctions that we can impose on you for disobeying what we think is how life should be lived for you, not for us. The standard that can apply would differ. It's different for us because it's us, and it's you because it's you. So that is the very thing that I have tried to put a voice and a face. Yes. Thank you so much. And see you. Bye.